The Afghan Parliament building in Kabul, the first stop for the NATO Secretary-General, who was making his 11th visit to the country, but it was the first visit for his wife. The couple met the Speaker of the Afghan Parliament, Mr. Yunus Kanuni, and several Afghan ministers.
It is key, your parliament, your role is key in the further development of democracy, the rule of law, respect for human rights and all those other elements who are also so very much important for the future of Afghanistan.
Normally, the Secretary-General's visits are dominated by meetings with soldiers and diplomats. But this time he wanted to also meet different groups. Some of the Afghans ISAF is here to assist, such as students who also questioned him.
So I want to know what is the policy of NATO in Afghanistan concerning campaign against the narcotics problem.
It is not NATO's first responsibility to act and to be active in the campaign against counter narcotics. NATO cannot do everything and NATO cannot be responsible for everything. We have already a huge task in our hands and on our hands in trying to create a climate of security and stability in Afghanistan in which your nation can further develop. Admittedly, narcotics is a huge problem, and Afghanistan from time to time is qualified as a narco state, which is a very negative qualification. The international community should see to it that we fight it, but it is not the first NATO responsibility.
Later in the afternoon, the Secretary-General visited the presidential palace, where following talks he held a joint press conference with President Hamid Karzai.
Those people who want to destabilize Afghanistan, and those people are killing the NATO forces as well, are the same who are after the destabilizing of Pakistan and the destabilizing of much larger part of the world. In other words, Mr. President, I think more than ever we now need a regional approach in trying to stem this situation.
The next day, it was out of Kabul to visit one of the areas where the insurgency is at its most intense. The Secretary-General landed in Tarin Kowt in the province of Uruzgan in the south of Afghanistan and then headed on to the Baluchi Valley. He met with Australian ISAF soldiers from a provincial reconstruction team where his wife got a mention.
Why does the Secretary-General takes his wife to Afghanistan? I don't do that regularly. But to show that NATO is more than the military, that there is more than defense, there's also a development.
After speaking to the soldiers from the PRT, the Secretary-General also had a discussion with local elders about some of the projects the PRT had been working on.
I understand that there's also a school being built so that your children can go to school.
يعني وعدتها وين مكتب كار شروع دي مكتب يعني مكتب جورسي دي زايجي يعني وعدتها سبا خلق شنن دايته والواسو Yeah, we're ready to send our children.
Yeah, the boys and the girls.
يعني in junior والبان.
Success for ISAF is not just about fighting, but about combining security, governance and development to maintain the support of the people. It was a theme he took up when he held a meeting with senior government officials from Uruzgan province.
I think you'll agree with me when I say that there is no development without security. The problem is that the opposite is also true. There is no security without development. But I can assure you that we try, and if I say we is the international community, to help, support and assist development and reconstruction in Uruzgan and all across Afghanistan.
As his latest visit drew to a close, the Secretary-General thanked the Dutch soldiers in Tarin Kowt, who, like the Australians at the PRT, are at the front line of the effort to defeat the insurgents. This is Dan Morgan for the NATO channel in Afghanistan.